The next quality tool that I'd like to talk about is a run chart. The run chart is an important analytical tool in decision making as managers to understand what's going on. A run chart really is a chart that tracks and illustrates the history or pattern of what's occurring. In other words, in this case, because we're talking quality, really around variation. So how do we use a run chart? Well, a run chart usually is used to see what the trend is on something. And if we focus in on quality or continuous improvement, let's think about it in terms of problem solving. We we're buying a new piece of equipment. It's an important piece of equipment for our business, and it's going to cost us $1 million. And of course, businesses don't have $1 million just sitting in the bank, so we've got to go to the bank and ask for a loan for $1 million to buy this piece of equipment. And before the bank lends us the money, they'll want to know what our business case is. And part of our business case is it will say this machine is going to generate $1.2 million a year for us, and we'll argue that by saying that this machine will work for the full 8 hours a day. The 8 hours that we're open, this machine's going to be working full 8 hours, um, and 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 based on how much we charge out for this machine per hour, this is how much we're going to make in a day. This is how much we're going to make in a week. This is how much we're going to make in a month. This is what we're going to make in a year. So we make that business case, and on that business case, the bank says yes, you get a positive return on investment, and we're going to lend you the money. So we go back, we buy this machine, and we now say, okay, well, we've got to pay back this money. And it's important that this machine, if this machine doesn't produce what we said it would, it's not going to pay itself off and it will have a negative impact in other parts of our business. So we've got to track how much this machine produces or how much it works. And we might do this from the flip side. We're going to say, we're going to track how much downtime this machine has. So we do the numbers, and at 8 hours a day, it's going to produce 1.2 million. If we have any more than let's say, if we have any more than 3 hours of downtime a day, if it works any less than 5 hours a day, it's going to make us a loss. So we're going to track the downtime. So every day, and this would all be done, look, in all reality, big business, this would be done automated. That would have a system set up that collects the data and reports, spits out the run chart for us. But let's just, so we understand the principles, I'll talk about it old school. So we're going to have a clipboard next to the machine. And at the end of every day, or every time the machine's not producing, it's got to be written down on the clipboard how long it's down for and the reasons for it. And then at the end of the day, we tally up the total amount of downtime that machine has. And then that chart gets taken to someone who's responsible for it, perhaps someone in the administrative team, who's then going to record it into some type of spreadsheet. And then from that spreadsheet, we're going to run this run chart out of it. And it's going to come to you as a manager. So you're really looking at this chart here. Let's imagine this is the chart here on this graph for it. And you're saying that any more than 3, so this line here where my mouse is now, the 3, let's just imagine that's hours. So this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and these are the dates. So from the 1st of March, the 2nd of March, 3rd of March, 4th of March. So the first few days that we've got it, there's no first day there's no downtime. Second day there's 2 hours of downtime. We have a look and it might be maintenance or something like that. And we think, look, it's still under the 3. That's cool. And we track it every day, and we're like, okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. And then it gets to day 5, the 5th of March, and we're on 3 hours, and we're like, ooh, geez, that's getting close. Then we track it the next day, and the next day, the 6th of March, it's been down for 5.5 hours. And then the 7th, it's down for 8 hours. And we know that we would have, probably in our run chart, we would have a big, bold red line through here to say this is, anything under that red line is in variance. So it's in control. Anything outside or above that 3 is out of control. And we would identify that as red flags to say that we've got 4 key spikes in the month of March where we're really not getting the productivity that we require out of the machine. And we would need to go back and have a look at these specific days on what's going on. So a run chart is used to analyze what the trends are doing. So as soon as we get, okay, so we get to 3, we're like, geez, it's gone from 0 to 1 to 3. I'm not liking this uptrend. So as a manager, your analysis and your focus really hones in here. What's going on? I've got to keep a really close eye on this, and then we start to see the trend upwards. We focus on it. What's the problem? We do our problem solving. We fix it. We make some improvements, and it goes back down. The trend is good, but then the trend starts to go back up. We have another look at it. So this is how we use a run chart to identify trends, to identify patterns of variation, to try and recognize when we're in control of the process and when we're out of control of the process. So in continuous improvement, we would use the run chart to identify opportunities to look for improvements, where there are issues, problems, or opportunities. But we would also use a run chart to see whether the changes that we've made are downtrending as well. So that's the run chart.